Hello and welcome to another edition of Pantry Clips. Today we will be making a one-pot pasta. And it's literally one pot. Some people you could say you do a one-pot pasta if you boil the pasta and then strain it and then make the sauce in the same pot. That could be a one-pot pasta, but this is literally we're putting everything in one pot and letting it cook all together. So it's a really quick and easy way after work to pull together a meal. So we are going to be using some typical ingredients today. So we're using some pasta noodles. Fettuccine or linguine are great choices. And I'm making this for 2 to 3 people. So I'm going to use half of a box. I just want to point out that this is smart pasta, which means that it has quite a bit of added fiber. So, you know, if you can do that, it's a great way to introduce additional fiber to your diet. So I'm literally putting the, in this case, fettuccine into the pot, along with some onions. This feels so weird to do it this way, but it's a really neat way to pull together, as I say, an after work dish. We're also going to use about 3/4 of this can of finely diced tomatoes, which this particular one has garlic and olive oil. A really good one to use is the fire roasted tomato, if you can find it, the 15-ounce can. But not all the grocery stores carry it, but this is a good alternative. We're also going to add some basil. So I'm going to chop that up, but I'm going to save a little bit for my garnish. I'm going to add some to the pot, and then I'm going to add a little handful for my garnish. And then I'm going to add the zest of about half of a lemon and the juice of half a lemon. And that's just going to elevate the flavors a little bit. There's a few ways to get zest off a lemon. One is the fine, on your box grater, the fine grate. You can do that. A rasp is a great way, which is this type of tool that will take the zest off quite nicely. You want to make sure that you wash your citrus first before you zest it, because whatever's on the outside is going to go into your food. So you want to make sure that you zest it, or that you wash it, sorry, before you zest it. So a rasp is one way to do that. There are also these great little tools around that this particular one has a really fine grater on the top. And you can grate against it, and it collects the zest inside for you, which is a great way. If I'm doing something like a lemon meringue pie and I need a lot of fresh lemon juice, I don't want to waste the zest. So what I do is I zest it. I zest all the lemons I'm going to use, whether or not I'm going to actually put that into my lemon meringue pie or not. And then I just put the lemon zest in a baggie, and I save it for other purposes. So you're not wasting that great flavor. So you can use something like this as well, and that works really nicely. So I think together here I have about half of the zest between the two methods. So I'm just going to drop that in. Off the back of the grater, so you can use either of those or your box grater. And then I'm going to juice the lemon. So it's a really good idea when you're going to juice a lemon. If you just juice it the way it is now, you're not going to get as much juice out of it. If you if you roll it under your hands, not only will your hands smell heavenly, you will release the juice that's in the little sacks that are in the lemon. So I'm going to actually squeeze my juice into here first, just because I see some pips and I don't really want to get pips in my pasta. So And I use a fork. I put the fork into the lemon and I actually just squish it around in my hand, and I find you get so much more juice out of it by doing this. You can use a juicer if you like, one of those reamer type things, but that works perfectly, and you're just using your good old hands to do it. So I just want to make sure that I don't have any pips. I don't. Okay, so I'm going to add that to my pasta. Now, the next thing I'm going to add is I'm going to drizzle some extra virgin olive oil over this, a teaspoon or two. And to that, you'll add a little garlic. I like to use this ready-made garlic when I'm in a hurry. Our tomatoes also have a bit of garlic, so that will help with the garlic flavor. And then I'm going to season it with a little salt and pepper. I have a combination of salt and pepper here, which works really nicely. And then I'm going to make up 2.5 cups, in this particular case, 2 1/4 cups of chicken stock, and I'm using concentrated chicken stock. You can use bouillon cubes, you can use Tetra Paks, whatever you like. If you're using the Tetra Paks, I would recommend you get the low sodium one. This one I tend to not add the full amount because then I can always add a little bit later. So I'm looking for about 4 tablespoons to make up a nice chicken stock blend. Okay, so I'm going to pour this, I'm going to turn on my burner. I'm going to put it on high for the moment. And I'm going to pour in my chicken stock. And I'm going to give it a nice little stir. And what I'm going to do, as with normal pasta, that you're not cooking in one pot like this, you want to make sure and move your pasta around a little bit so that the starches don't form the clumps of pasta in the bottom if you don't stir it. Sometimes things get stuck to the bottom of the pan, the pasta will stick together, but if you keep it moving, you can generally meet with much greater success. So we're simply going to bring this to a boil and then let it simmer for about 10 minutes. We'll test the pasta. The sauce is created by the dish itself, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, it's been about 13, 14 minutes, a little bit longer for this one because it was actual fettuccine instead of linguine. Linguine's a little thinner. So you want to make sure that that the pasta gets cooked really well. And we are done. So I'm going to turn off the pot. It has created a lovely little sauce. I'm going to use some Parmesan cheese and add that right to the pot. And give it a good stir. The tomatoes have created their own sauce. It's quite fantastic. A little freshly ground black pepper. And then I'm going to put some out on the plate. There's 2 or 3 servings here, depending on how big your family's appetite is. The sauce is quite quite saucy. I'm going to use a little of that basil that I saved from before, and I'm going to use just a little finishing olive oil on top. We give it a nice glisten, and then we get to dry it. Really yummy. The pasta's cooked really well. The tomatoes all broke down and made a lovely sauce. The lemon really helps with the flavor. It makes it really fresh. Absolutely great way to do pasta coming home from work, and just doing the one pot deal. My big recommendation through all of this though is stay close to your pot. You're going to be 12, 14 minutes once you get everything put into the pan. Stay close to it, stir it by the time you make up a salad on the counter beside, and then stir your pot. Everything will be ready at the same time, and it'll be delicious. So I hope you give it a try. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you'll come and watch some of our other Pantry Clips, and enjoy. Thanks.